there, and welcome. Well, you may have noticed I missed my episode yesterday, and so I'm going to do two today. And the main reason I missed my episode yesterday is I got pretty sick Sunday night and had to go to the doctor on Monday. I'm fine. It's not anything serious. I got some medicine and I'm on the mend now. But I just wasn't up for it yesterday. I was mostly trying to rest. And so today I want to talk a little bit about principle, about how to deal with principles, and some of the reasons why I have the problems I do with principles. So, I've said that my dad was a principal, but I didn't actually explain all the levels of my feeling about that. Part of why principles mattered so much to me when I started teaching was my dad felt like I was meant to be a teacher. I thought I was going to be an engineer, but he sensed early on that I was teacher material, and he came from a teaching family, so he had a right to know. And he asked me about it, and I poo-pooed it, and he asked me, does what I've done with my life not matter? And it was pretty horrifying. I felt bad about it, and I, of course, said no. I just adored my father. I think that's pretty common with the only girl. A lot of times the only girl's really crazy about her dad. And I was crazy about my dad. So, by the time I graduated from college and got my student teaching done and got ready to become a professional, my father was gone. And so I never got the opportunity to discuss the business of both our lives with him. And I went into the business seeking the approval and approbation of the principal. Now, the particular principal I started with was okay. He had been my father's principal after my father decided to go back into the classroom, and he was okay. He wasn't great. He had some very good qualities and he could think clearly when pressed. But he was a little bit too much in love with being boss man and not in love with being school man. And so that first experience was difficult for me because, of course, when you're young, you're going to mess up. That's part of it. When you're starting out, you make mistakes and you don't get things right. So I didn't get a lot of help and guidance from him. And he was more interested in having the staff kowtow to him than he was interested in having a great school. And that was a problem for me. It just was. And so, to give you an idea of the problem of being a boss man instead of a school man, a school man or a school principal should be more interested in the success of the school than anything else. That means that hanging out in his office or hanging out in her office or whoever's office is not really the best way to do the job. The best way to do the job is to be out among the students and teachers and to move around and to be part of that community. And this guy did not do that. He spent his days in his office. And the other thing that he had that was too much boss man was he would make us, at the end of the year when you turned in all your stuff, so different schools have different methods for doing this, but at the end of the year when you turned in all your stuff and everything at the end of the year so that you could take the summer off, we had to take a checklist around to these different departments and have them sign off. And the last stop with this checklist was his office, and he had our checks there. So we had to do a little scavenger hunt the last day, and then we'd go in and he'd hand us our checks. An opportunity to bow at his throne, which I didn't really like, but I did it because I wanted those checks, baby. When I started teaching, teachers made so little money. I needed every dime. I was squeezing pennies to get through the year. So, yeah, I needed those checks. But this is my advice to anybody working under any kind of principal, the good ones, the mediocre ones, the bad ones. The first is don't seek approval from the principal. I know that sounds crazy, but you shouldn't seek it. What you should do is do the best job you can, show up, that's the most important quality, show up, do your job, and try to get better every chance you get. Try to get a little bit better at management, try to get a little bit better at keeping track of things, try to get a little bit better at supporting the community. And as long as you're doing that, any principal worth any amount is gonna value you. They may not share that. A principal may not come to you and say, you know, I'm really glad you're on the staff. That may not happen because some principals just don't want to get involved in attaboys. They just don't want to do it, even though it's like a really important thing to be able to do. So do the job the best you can and let the principal decide whether or not to appreciate you. If the principal is of any value whatsoever, even a mediocre principal will value you because, let's face it, there are a lot of staffs where the teachers are on wobbly ground for a big part of the year, and the principal has to spend a lot of time putting out fires on these wobbly ground teachers. Don't be one of them. Be a solid teacher, and you know, you may even pass out of the principal's mind entirely. But you won't need the approbation and approval. It won't be necessary because you'll know that you're doing a good job. And you won't need that external go team go quality poured down on you. That's what I was messed up in seeking the first couple of years I was teaching, and I definitely didn't get it and had to learn that that was the wrong thing to seek. So that's it for today. Tomorrow I'd like to talk to you a little bit about superintendent. Well, it's not going to be tomorrow. Probably today. In a second episode today, I will be discussing superintendents, and I do have things to say about them. That's it for today. I hope you have a glorious rest of the day, and I hope you see me again, you gorgeous people.